so I guess we will call the meeting to order and roll call. I believe, Allison, you said Karen or Randy will do that for us.
Sure.
Okay.
Randy, can you do a roll call vote, please? He may not be listening. So, so Terry, what you do is you just go through who should be here and everyone say yay, or if Matthew's here by the time, we'll say everyone's here with the exception of Matthew or something.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Brandon. No, Stenton Benz. Did I say that right? Okay. You can unmute. And you are here?
Yay.
Okay. And Kyle Edson.
Here.
And Denise Woods.
Here.
Okay. And so Allison, now you and Ron, are you here official? Do I conclude you in that?
Just ask for us and we'll figure it out.
The part that's been stressing me out for 2 days.
No, we're all good.
We're all figuring it out.
So we're figuring it out, and just call for Ron and call for me,
Okay.
and then we're on the record,
Right.
and it's all good.
All right, and Ron Fucci.
Present.
All right, and Allison
Close.
Kerr.
Yay!
Did I say it wrong, Ron?
Say it again.
Fucci?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. All right, here we go. So public comments. Doesn't look like we have anybody from the public, but to be official, I will read the blurb. Public comments. General public comment must deal with matters subject to this jurisdiction of the city and council that are not on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the Parks and Recreation Committee on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. The public may comment on any other matter listed on the agenda at the time the matter is being considered. There will be a time limit of not more than 3 minutes for each speaker. No action will be taken on matters brought up under this item, and all comments will be referred to staff. Okay. All right, first item, review and discuss purchase of current structure, the playground structure that we were talking about last meeting. And Ron has some items for us that are going to be put up on screen, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm letting him know right now. So.
And then I'm going to turn this part over to Ron also.
There we go. So this is the playground for 5 to 12 at the Del Rio Park. And it's there's a 3D rendering here, layout drawing, equipment pricing with the total quotes for the rubber mat underneath and all that as well. Randy, can we go to the next slide, please? So here's the actual structure. Here's the swing for Matthew. And then there's a few other items as well, as you can see, and this is just one shot. Randy, can we see the other? There you go. There's a better view of it. I think it looks beautiful, but that's why we're all here on this committee, to kind of look at it and come together as one. Next slide, please, Randy. So it has a lot of extra stuff that we currently do not have, which obviously is the swing, and there's some smaller pieces of equipment, some spring, like the spring horses, but there's actually like a surfboard on there. And then there's going to be that rubber matting, and it's kind of the color scheme is going to be just like it is on this picture. And this is how I asked them to send it to me. So when we presented it, everybody could get a clear view and see an accurate portrait of what I'm looking at and what we can expect if we go forward with this. Next slide, Rand. So, and there's the dimensions and how it's going to look and how it's going to set. So if you look at it, how it is, where it says total square footage on the bottom, that would be the front of the playground structure facing the creek. So for perspective, and then behind that on the top portion of this spec is the side of the hill. So, or the restroom. Mm-hmm. It's pretty straightforward so far, everybody.
Can you tell me, is this 2,000 square feet feels like a lot to me. What is the amount of space that's used there now?
It's not, it's just a little bit less than that. And there's a lot of dead space because of the sand in there, and then we just have the little playground structure, which is completely pushed to the right. So we have all that extra area over there that's not being utilized other than, kids playing in the sand. But I think that with the swing, and you can see the swing would actually fill that void area that's currently there. And it'll fill in, and then it'll be rubber matted, which will allow people that, have a hard time walking like in the sand or whatever to actually access with their children, or, go in and participate as well, depending on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there another slide, Randy, please? And then we're starting to get into the fund area. And there's some of the breakdown. And when we meet actually in the park, I can bring a hard copy for everybody to kind of look at and go over. And again, just so everybody's on the same page, we are pressed for time. So I can get those out, or you can stop by City Hall and pick them up anytime if you'd like. Randy has a hard copy there. So next slide, please, Rand. And then you can see this is the breakdown. Aluminum posts, this is all the playground structure. Next one, please. And then the totals down at the bottom. That includes removal, the demo, the construction, the rubber, the new playground, total finished product, taxes and all, 117,564.60.
17, okay. I have a question. I'm sorry. Can you tell me why you selected the orange to go with the green?
I just thought it matched good with the park currently. I mean, I think we can probably change colors if we'd like. I'm sure it's optional on the colors. Again, I just wanted to get something out where we can kind of, get a visual on it, and then do exactly like you said. Is there other options as far as color schemes go? And there is, to answer your question.
What's the color scheme of the smaller kid playground that was up the hill?
It's blue, orange, and I think there's a red like jungle gym on the back side of it.
Okay.
So, and that one's actually pretty decent shape. The one above, it's obviously because it's not utilized as much, but it's not like the current one we have is full of rust and there's breaking parts. It's just a hazard. So, but the colors are about the same up there. There's the blue, there's orange, and there's the red. So, and again, that'll be great when we can go out there and take a look at it, everybody together. We can always mix and match. We can, like, if we want the slide to be blue, we can do that, or brown, whatever. We want the little surfboard structure, the spring toy is going to be, it can be changed to any color we want. So all I do is I call my rep and tell him what we're thinking, and then he'll send me a new picture that indicates all those different colors that we pick.
Can we go back and look at that first, the drawing, the colorized drawing, please?
Sure, here he goes.
Yeah, okay.
And I think there's 3 of these, Terry, so we can go through them.
Yeah, I'd be curious to get Matthew's input on, like, are these the right playground elements for a kid his age? Because I don't know.
Matthew is here.
Yes, welcome, Matthew. Glad to have you here. Perfect timing. So Matthew, did you were you here at the beginning when Ron started talking?
Yeah, I saw when he first started showing the pictures of the playground.
All right. So since the swings are so important to you, especially, what do you think of this?
Next slide, Randy, please.
I think it looks really cool. I especially like the springy surfboard and how we're keeping some of the stuff that's already in the original part, like the slide, like it looks like the same shape and stuff. And the new elements like the swirling monkey bars and the net. I think it looks pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, the netting looks like a climbing area, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the rock climb is good.
Randy, can you show the picture that shows the swing? Right.
Yeah.
There you go. You see that, Matthew?
It looks good.
Okay. Well, we need your input. So Do you like that, or do you have any other ideas?
Or questions?
No, I think. Yeah, I like the colors. It looks good. Wait, a quick question. Are we still keeping the baby swings at the top of the hill? Are we still
Yes.
keeping?
Yes,
Okay.
this is a separate structure. This
All
is a
right.
whole separate structure.
So we're gonna build this at the bottom of the hill, like the foot of it?
Where the current structure is now,
Okay.
take that away and this will go in its place.
Yeah.
And there will be no sand, Matthew. It's going to be all rubber now.
Okay, that sounds cool.
What do you
So
think
you-
about that? What do you think about the spring surfboard? Randy, get a better.
It looks pretty cool. Could I get a closer look at it?
Sure. Randy, can you get a closer look at the? I think it's the other slide that shows a better picture of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try with this. It might be a little
Okay.
difficult.
There it is.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I want you to know that we're going to fight who gets to use that the most.
There's no like buckets on the seats or anything like that. So anybody of any age and any.
No buckets.
Okay.
Yep. It's 5 to 12, and there's no buckets like the current structure we have up above that has like the bucket for the kids, the toddlers to put their legs through and all that. So this
Yeah.
is basically a
Like-
strap where anybody can sit, and it's universal for everyone.
So could a 17-year-old fit in that?
I'm sure they could. I mean, I have one. I have an actual sample of one out in my yard,
Okay.
and it's pretty decent size. I don't see why somebody like that could not use it. I mean, it's fairly straightforward, but that's a good question.
And could you tell me how much just that swing structure cost?
Yeah, Randy, can you go back to the price breakdown? Let's see. Skip the transfer the fuse. Oh, you'll find it. Yeah, it's right in there.
Is that it? Okay, so 1,400. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus the seat.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like was I right when I saw it? The rock wall was by far the most expensive element. Is it like almost 10 grand? Is that right? I'm not sure what's normal for playgrounds or how tight the budget is or what we're working with. That's something to consider. But I think that jumped out at me as like, whoa, it's a lot more expensive than every other piece in this.
Yeah.
I think that and the slide piece is
Okay.
Yeah.
quite expensive also.
And it's a great question. And my eyes opened real wide when I had to repair the current slide. And the bottom piece of that slide, I think I spoke at our first meeting, was like over $700, and it's only like a 3-foot piece at the bottom. So I asked the rep, I go, well, how much is a whole new slide if I'm paying $800 for a one piece? And it was $3,000 just for the slide. So yeah, I didn't realize how expensive playground equipment is until I started getting into this.
So is that when they're calling it an ocean themed vertical ascent, is that our slide?
I believe that's our slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vertical ascents.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
Where's the ocean theme?
There was a life preserver.
And Randy, can you go back to the photo, please? Next
Right
one. But there's the next one. No, go back right there. So you see right there where the rock wall is, see the ocean. There you go.
Yeah.
Got it right.
Like climbing
The
onto a
ocean
tree.
kind
Yeah,
of-
there you go.
The white and the blue kind of look
Yeah,
greenish.
with the rock wall right there.
Oh, I see. So that's the vertical ascent.
Oh, and the
Yeah,
octopus
that's
is
the
on there.
vertical ascent.
And so what is the $9 grand that netting climbing structure then?
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to look at the price breakdown.
Yeah.
So the Pearl, Flex Climbers.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a pretty cool thing for older kids, probably.
Yeah, I was trying my best to get, as many different things in there that we can that would, help everybody that goes out there to the playground, pick something that they like, and it kind of covers everyone, instead of just a swing or just the rock wall. There's a slide. It gives you a few different options when you're out there.
Okay. Brandon, do you have anything else that you wanted to ask or comment on about the structure? You're still muted.
The total price, that includes labor and installation.
That's it. That's total. That's demo, and then the actual construction.
Yeah, at this time I don't have any questions. I'll have to just do more research. I mean, I like the colors, the teal and the orange. Yeah, I mean,
All right. Kyle, do you have any other comments or questions for Ron?
I have two final thoughts. One is I think like if we're debating colors, at least considering making it look kind of uniform with the existing playground up the hill, kind of making it kind of a theme, like the whole park kind of looks like it's cohesive in that way. I like that, but I'm not it's not super important, but I think it looks like it was a planned project to kind of expand the playground as opposed to a new addition. And then I don't know if anybody's been on a swing as an adult, but it's really fun. And if there are options to, like, I don't know, we don't want to take away from the kids' ability to use it, but like making it taller and more adult friendly even would be a real hoot. So I've been in playgrounds in other cities that I've lived in that were kind of still for the kids, but big enough that an adult could get in there and have fun. And it's surprising how exhilarating it is. If you haven't been on one in a couple of decades, it's really, really nice. So if that's something that doesn't cost a ton and still allows kids, but just expands the usage a little bit, I would be all for it.
Okay.
Sure.
Right. Matthew, do you have anything else you want to comment on or have a question about on this for right now?
I noticed there was like a fire pole. Couldn't we go back to that? The little fire pole.
Let's see. Tell me which one you like, or Randy can hear you. That one? Oh, I see. Go back to the picture, Rand.
Sorry, it's bugging out for a second.
That one. I think that's what he's talking about. Is that it, Matthew?
Sorry. It's right there. That one right there.
Oh, the little pole.
Yeah, the little fire pole thing.
Yeah.
So does it always come with the little like seat thing that the kid is sitting on? Like, does it come with the little like swirling metal rod that like goes around it, or is it?
Are you talking about the corkscrew piece that's coming down?
Yeah, it's like going around it.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a seat on there.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't sure how to describe it, so that was the closest thing I could think of to it. But does it like come like without the little corkscrew piece, or is it just or does it only come like that?
Well, I'm not sure. It's a great question. It's something I can actually talk to the rep about.
Okay.
If it just comes with just a straight pole.
All right.
So.
Good either way, but it would be cool if it would add into their straight pole.
Okay.
All right.
are these just like all-in-one units where the whole assembly is kind of, you get like 3 options and that's it, or do you get to pick individually each option on those jungle gyms?
There is options, so they come as themes, and then you can mix and match according to what you're trying to accomplish. Like wanted the little surfboard, then we added the swing set, and then the rules and stuff, the pole there, and then but there's like 3 or 4 different themes. This is the one I picked because of the ocean, and also it felt the safest to me. I'm sure they're all safe. Just looking at it from the other structures, it just felt the safest. But there is options. There's different themes you can choose from, and it's definitely things that we can look at if we wanted to maybe look at some different themes and come up with a decision based on those themes. I think there's like 3 different themes. There's a pirate ship one I know of, and then a couple different ones as well.
Mayor, do you have your hand up?
Yeah. Is it possible, Ron, for you to send this to each of the committee members?
Sure. Yeah, I have it, the PDF, so.
Okay, perfect. And then that way, you know I have looked up landscape structures online, but this will give, I think this will give people an opportunity to be able to dig into the details a little more.
Right.
And to do some more homework, looking at, just kind of the size and the space.
Sure.
The other thing I just wanted to mention, kind of tied to everything, is one idea that I was thinking is, why don't we have adult swings? Why don't we have swings all over the city? We talked about last time having benches, but
right.
This could be a way that we create some kind of a fun Delray Oaks thing, right? Let's go to Delray Oaks and go hang out on the swings. Or, if elderly folks, walk one place, they can go and they can sit and swing and then they can go home or something. But I love that idea, which is why I asked about the cost. And tying to Kyle's, experience swinging. I think it's great. I think it's great for everybody.
Sure.
Right. So we do have that funding. So we do have a little bit of wiggle room if we wanted to add on to what Ron's already done. So that's something to think about as we're reviewing it and looking over all those things too. All right. So any last comments about the play structure? I feel that our next meeting, it might be beneficial to meet down at the park and really look at the area, look at the size, have all this information. We don't have a lot of time to finalize this. We only have, I think, 2 more meetings after this. We need to have this finalized by December 1st. I don't want to rush it, but we do need to rush it. I guess that's my point. So maybe our next meeting, we will meet down there and then we could finalize it, could vote on it, and council then give it to council, and that's that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for all that.
No worries.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to get things rolling down there, man. And I'd love for all of us to get down there and so we can look at the logistics and put our eyes on it. And then I'll bring some flags down there, some irrigation flags, and we can kind of flag things out and then stand back and take a look.
Great. That's wonderful. Perfect.
And then just another note, if I don't have your email, please send it to me or send it to Randy, and that way I can make sure that you guys get a PDF file on the playground structure.
Terry, could you send that email and phone list that I created for everybody? That way everybody on the committee knows how to get in touch with everybody.
Yes.
And again, I also want to just be really conscious that this just go to the committee, because we do have a minor, and we just need to make sure that we're very,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. All right, thank you. Our next item was the park map ideas and reconfiguration of some current structures. So this ties in with the play structure going to where it currently is located, but we've also started talking about the new basketball court, volleyball court, all these things. And so taking the map that was given to us and walking around, does anybody have any more ideas? This isn't something that has to be done tonight. Obviously, it's a work in progress. But did anybody have any other ideas possibly about where items could go or changing some things? Brandon, did you have any ideas?
Not anything I didn't add in the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Kyle?
I was walking around and just, I know, like kind of thinking through areas that have look like there's opportunities there. One of them, I have a, we talked about it already, but it's this section of like right next to the garden center where we talked about some sort of like maybe exercise equipment or something. It seems like it's right for something. That's my dog, Flo in the picture. But that was an area I thought, you know, there's plenty. We have limited resources and lots of good ideas, I think. But this is a spot that I think would be nice to repurpose somehow, and it's pretty, you know, well set up for that. I think with all the wood chips and stuff, it may not take a lot to install something there. And the only other thing was, let me share this. This has probably been raised by a lot of people in the past, but the kind of the entryway to this part of the trail for me is just kind of an eyesore, and it looks like a construction area, and there's tarps and cyclone fencing. It's just not a good place to stroll. Once you get past that and you get in to the Work Memorial Park, it's lovely, but this like garden center section has always been, you know, there's a quad con storage thing, and then it's kind of flanked by one as you kind of walk down further. It's an area I don't know if this money could be used for it, but it's one that I would love to think about over the next few years. Maybe there's something we can do here to make it a more welcoming place to kind of to stroll, because this is like a kind of just the least appealing section of that walk for me. So just something to share. But I think I mentioned that on the last one as well. I just took a photo of my last walk to kind of illustrate this particular section being the problem child, really. So
All right,
that's
thank
it.
Totally agree.
Mhm. Thank
Kyle,
you.
thank you for taking those pictures.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except of the weeds.
Who's responsible for those?
That'd be Ron.
Matthew, did you have any ideas about maybe some different areas in the park?
Wait, you mean the
Besides the
park-
place, besides the play structure? What do you-
I do like the idea of putting benches in there, and you know, the little place where some people like the little open out area where people have their birthday parties, like the little like white structure over there.
Mhm.
I feel like that maybe could get like kind of fixed up a little bit. Maybe could get like some paint or something. Maybe.
Matthew, which area are you talking about?
The like
The
I'm not
covered,
exactly sure how-
the covered area, right as you go into the park? It
Yeah,
has
like
the
right as you
covering?
go into yeah, like by the lion water fountain. Yeah.
And what would you like to see done there?
I don't know. I feel like it's just like kind of missing something, or maybe it could like look a little nicer.
So are you thinking something like trees or another place structure or something like that? Or
No, probably not another play structure. I think 2 would be enough for that area. But yeah, some more trees, but not too many, because then people would want to use the open space. Because like if it was all stuff all over the place, then like people wouldn't want to use it as much, because some people come down there to use it for other things, like the grass and to play like games and stuff.
thank you for that clarity.
Thank you, Matthew.
Denise
Denise?
hasn't, yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Okay.
Denise, do you have any ideas?
Oh, you know where the picnic tables are now? That area needs to be cleaned, fixed up, and probably some new picnic tables, and maybe even just either DG or a hard surface underneath those, because there's always, when it rains, it's wet. So kind of near the barbecue area, spruce that up. And that's about it. Oh, and then a comment about the garden center weeds. Back to that. Isn't that the garden center's property? I believe.
Part of it, yes.
Yeah. But anyway.
They have a lawnmower graveyard. It's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And it smells like gasoline.
Yeah, exactly. It's not pleasant.
So the city is working with them. It's taking a long time. But this could also be an opportunity for this committee to reach out to Mr. Maury about his plans and what we're hoping to do. You know, the more interaction, the better, right?
Yeah, it could be a collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah, and and he's also he could be a very advantageous partner if we want to do more trees, things like that. If there are plants and things like that, he would be a logical partner in this. So I think, addressing him as a partner and also as just raising awareness to him, how many people use that and how it would be really good to have it look better.
How is the city's relationship with him generally? Is he very personable and helpful, or is there a tension that we need to work around, or is it?
It's a complicated question and a complicated answer. He is a very valued business owner in our town, and obviously very much in literally in the midst of the city. But we have been encouraging him to do much more cleanup. We, closed the machine shop, and there are ongoing conversations.
Okay.
So, but I think as a committee, I think with what we're trying to do, I think this committee just needs to go forward with what we think is best. And partnering with him is good. And then also, just having conversations about how can we help you clean this is always beneficial.
Okay. And then I agree with Kyle as far as the area that is down there, and we have looked at that as far as utilizing that space, maybe having that be the active adult area. The only thing is, after grading, some type of little fencing or retaining wall would need, because it does dip into the creek, and I don't want any active adult going into the creek. So that's my only concern with that area. We would have to do some type of little safety structure right there. But I think that's a perfect area. Right across the street is parking for them. It would be separate than the main park, so they would have their space. So that is one area I've thought a lot about, and I think the possibility would be an active adult area in that space. So that just segues in then into our additional funds that we do get to spend from Prop 68 after the play structure. And also, Ron, could you speak to the lighting really quick as far as using some of the money for that? You're muted though.
Absolutely. So currently, the electrical outlets and the lighting that we have in the park, all the junction boxes are old and rusted, and they're actually open, which is a hazard. And like I was speaking with Terry earlier before everybody came on, is that regardless if we can use some of the money towards fixing those items, I have to get it done because it's a hazard. I have to get it done like tomorrow. I was after digging some of the stuff out, they're just wide open. But total cost is roughly right about 5,000 to fix all the electrical that I have in there. And that includes junction boxes, new light, some of the receptacles, like next to the barbecue pit, there's a receptacle there and it's wide open. We put tape over and they've already tore it off. And I'm just, it's driving me nuts to know that some kid's going to come put a pencil or something in there or something. So I was actually trying to secure it up again today. And if we're not unable to use some of this park funds money to do those repairs, I'll probably pull the trigger and get that started next week. It just needs to be done. So there's a little gray area in that Prop 68 that allows for that. But I got to be 100% sure before we use that money. And like I was explaining to Terry, I'd much rather use the Prop 68 money than my budget. So we'll see how it goes. But
Okay. So,
nevertheless, I have to get that done.
right. So by next meeting, can you let us know if yes, we can use this funding, the Prop
Absolutely.
68 money, and then we can vote on it and go ahead and see how that works. But then at least at that
Absolutely.
point, we can take a vote.
Yeah, I'll have that.
We
for
know
you.
for sure if that's
Mhm.
acceptable under the funding guidelines. Okay,
Yep,
great.
will do.
Okay. All right. And then we did talk about, and this is a little bit of the same as we talked about last meeting, other things that we kind of see in the future or that we possibly could do with the little bit of extra Prop 68 money. Brandon, I think you had the great bocce ball court idea, which has
Love
been
it.
sticking with me. Have you thought about anything else possibly?
I mean, I was so excited about the ideas I had last time and just felt like let those resonate with everybody and see kind of, how we can go from there before more grandiose Brandon ideas, I guess.
So that's pretty much for everybody. The ideas that you had, and this goes into their final thing, is that by next meeting, I think we should have like what Ron just showed us for the play structure. He showed us a picture. He gave us the cost. So whatever your ideas, and Brandon, I'm going to make you the example. So say the bocce ball court, roughly, and I don't, you're not estimators. I don't expect it to be perfect, but if somehow you can gather some information as far as how much it would be to install bocce ball court construction wise, and then supplies, bocce balls are just the balls. So it's not really a lot of equipment when we get down to that, and the scoreboard little thing. And that's about it with that. So whatever it is that you're feeling passionate about, or you're feeling this is something I'd like to see happen soon, or use some of this money, if you could gather as much information as you can, because again, we are on that time constraint that we need to have this money finalized, how we're spending it by December 1st. Okay, and I'm sorry, the bocce ball stood out in my head, so I'm sorry if Kyle, I don't remember something that you had thought
I
of.
honestly don't remember what I proposed last time. I talked about the Work Memorial Park a lot. I remember that, but
Okay,
but I wonder if like the bocce ball idea or something can fit into what Matthew was mentioning, that kind of section of grass that is kind of unused. We don't want to absorb all of it with a project, but there are like, I was just Google imaging for like bocce ball, like AstroTurf stuff that you build into a grassy area as opposed to like just having it all be dirt. I don't know if that makes it, if that's a competing thing with like the kind of kid focused park, or if like we want to protect that grass for, people playing soccer and put like kind of permanently installed small soccer nets at either end of that grass to make it more of a playground. I don't know, but.
and we also talked about possibly getting rid of the volleyball court. So that's something else to think about. And these are all things I just want everybody to think, and by next meeting, make some actions on those things. If we decide to get rid of the volleyball court, that will open up a lot more space as far as putting a bocce ball court in or permanent soccer structures or anything else. So that'll be an action item, Miss Mayor.
So I'm wondering so our next meeting is in 2 weeks.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, and I did take some notes last time that I will send out to everyone. So you have those. And Ron, if you could send yours out. I'm wondering if we have like 2 people meet to talk about design, right? And looking a bird's eye view, looking down at the city. You know, how do things fit? You know, I'm a visual person. I have to have little pieces on a piece of paper that I can move around, right? Oh, a bocce ball court goes great here. So somebody or a couple of people to look at design, and then also, if I remember correctly, everybody liked having the active adult. So kind of all of our different areas of population have at least something to go to. And so off the top of my head, those 2, I think people can meet and gather and prepare things for the next meeting. So we're playing together rather than by ourselves. You know, I don't know how people work best, but I like to collaborate and talk and, you know, move things around. So those are just my few suggestions. The other thing is there were, and I'll find those notes and I'll get those out to everybody tonight, but there were some things like cleaning up, right? And so there were trees and there was, you know, even the walkway is really a cleaning up thing, right? And those kinds of things, similar to the lights. I mean, $5,000 in my world, that's a lot for lights, but not in the scheme of this. And so I think, and those things go a long way, not only for safety, but also for comfort of the park. And so, and I don't want this group to limit themselves, even though we only have this amount of money now. You never know. You know, we're living in a time right now where there's going to be money dropping from the federal government and the state government, and parks and health are going to be big deals. So if we have a huge wish list, maybe we only accomplish the first 10 things now, but if we have another 10, then we're ready to go, right?
Right. And that was what I was thinking for after we get this done, starting the beginning of the year. We will come up with a more formalized plan and, you know, what is it that we want to do as a committee? What are our goals? What things do we want to implement? And that, so that was what I was thinking after we get this Prop 68 money taken care of.
He's like, whoa, Nelly.
Yeah. And then of course, as anybody is out researching or sees any type of grants, I am not a grant writer. But I can always help. And as a committee, we could, I think between all of us, figure out how to do it. And look at that
And
too.
Ron, could you remind us how much, once, like, say we use the balance or some of the balance for the lighting project, how much we'd actually have to work with, what the actual grant is?
Probably be right about 45.
Okay.
Grant is 178,000. Is that correct, Ron?
Okay.
It's 177, I think.
177. Okay.
Yeah.
177.
And so there's the 117 for the current structure without any
Right.
changes. And then guesstimated
5,000.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, round up. So you're looking at 125K thus far.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is it true? My brother had mentioned this, that if like I was to say want to get tennis nets, would I have to get 3 different prices from 3 different people to prevent like
Yeah.
you know, basically like choosing a bias towards a friend who sells them? Is that true that you'd need like 3 different?
Quotes.
Yeah.
And are you talking about like as far as a donation?
No, like for this grant money to like,
Oh, okay.
if I was to propose new nets for the tennis courts, like, do you have to get prices from 3 different avenues?
Yeah, I usually always get 3 quotes.
Oh, okay.
It's just standard practice. Keeps everybody straight. Keeps
And
the
then
team rolling. So
the city of Monterey has bocce ball courts. Would they have like public record of what that cost for them that we'd be able to access? Is that something?
I'm sure I could reach out to their director over there or actually and see what they have as far as what it costs them to put that together. I'm just guesstimating for a bocce because I've put in a few of them. I'm thinking about $3,500. Do it all. The most expensive is going to be probably the railroad ties we have to put in, and then the DG for the ground. And then my only question with bocce, and I love bocce, is do we leave the balls out there for everybody or do they check them out? That's the thing, is we got to be able to. My only concern is that they end up in the creek. Kids are when they're out there, and I find a lot of stuff out in the creek. So that's just something that for us to think on for the next meeting.
Yeah.
What we would do
It's
as
only
far as,
because they don't have swings.
yeah, I know what right.
I was thinking the cost for the Monterey install for their bocce courts, that was so long ago, it probably wouldn't, I don't know how much good it would do us right now.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Denise.
Yeah. And Ron, I think you're about right on the 3,500. I have to agree with you on that.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, but it's because I'm the one that's doing it.
So even better.
Yay! So, Terry, I just want to offer that we do have a public member here, iPad Scott, and so you may want to just ask if they have any comments about anything.
You, iPad Scott, welcome. Do you have any comments for us? You're still muted.
There he is.
Hello. At this time, I have no comments. I'm just here in the background listening about plans. One concern is lighting in the park. I think it should be done, but let's remember the park closes at dusk and any type of lighting might pull there past dusk, and that could be a problem. And I think that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right. Well, we are getting close to our hour mark, and like I said, I want to be respectful of our time and everybody's schedules. I think we went through our agenda items. Oh, and thank you, Brandon, for that about the 3 quotes, because that was not in the front of my brain. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. So as we are gathering some information for some items, that's something that we're going to have to be very conscious of. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. Any last comment, Matthew?
So if we do end up having lights in the park, will they be like disturbing the owls that sleep there? Because I know that there's like the owl boxes there.
Awesome question.
Would they be in any way disturbed by those lights and like decide not to live here anymore? Actually sometimes I used to see owls over on a telephone pole through my window. So sometimes it would be cool to like see that at night.
I don't. Ron, do you have an answer for that?
I do. So currently there is lighting already there. And I'm only upgrading what's there because we're doing the junction boxes and the conduit, putting new conduit coming down. So the current ones are there. They're on a sensor. They're low lighting, so it's not going to disturb any of the residents that live along that Angelus or up on the side of the hill. It's nothing that's going to be super bright or scare the owls whatsoever. So to answer your question, no, it will not scare the owls away.
So it's an upgrade.
It's just an upgrade.
And safety.
Yeah, and the current ones are old, so we're gonna go to a more electric efficient light. So we'll save money there too as well.
And more energy efficient.
Absolutely.
All right, that's cool.
Thank you, Matthew. But
I'm sorry. It's hard for me not to be. Matthew, we talked last time about talking to your school about perhaps any equipment that they may not be using. Do you have a relationship with your principal?
She knows that I'm on the committee, and I don't know her too well. I mean, I know her as my principal. But yeah, not really.
Okay. Well, and we can talk about this after the new year. I just wanted, as I'm thinking about next steps, it makes sense that you, as a pupil there, you know, and one of us can go with you perhaps and talk to her, but that might also be another way to bring in more equipment, you know, later on.
Before I go around and ask everybody their final thoughts, I forgot, Allison, you brought up an idea about going down and measuring and doing, you know, kind of a graphic organizational piece for the park. I'm happy to go do that if anybody else wants to join me, but that's right up my alley. So I'm happy to go take care of that.
I'd love to stake out some things with you.
All right. You and I will connect.
Yeah.
Who is that other voice? I heard a third voice, a male
I
voice.
said I knew it.
Okay. Our first subcommittee.
Love it.
All right. Thank you. And Denise, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just think, you know, having everything, you know, in the future laid out, if we can kind of have a general plan before diving in for this one, I think that's great. And thank you so much. You are doing a fantastic job with this meeting.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Kyle, any last thoughts?
No, just a question. Our homework then is to try to like pull together estimates of the ideas that we're having so we can kind of think through what the budget can accommodate. And
yeah.
So Terry, if you're okay with it, I can start to just harvest some options for like adult exercise equipment from different vendors and stuff. And then you and I can go back and forth about what sorts of equipment you'd like to see there too and stuff.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you.
I was actually talking to a friend about the adult exercise equipment. Oh, am I unmuted here? And they were saying there's some at Foothill Park. And she said no one really uses it. And so I just want to see what they have versus, you know, maybe do a little research on that. And I would be happy to do that. I'll go over there and
that'd be great.
Have.
We had talked about repurposing some Fort Ord equipment to it in the first meeting. Am I remembering that correctly? Like pull-up bars and stuff. I'd forget the details, but
that was at Matthew's school.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Because they'll be closing. They'll be closing in June.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Okay. And Brandon, any last thoughts from you?
Well, I walked Del Rio Oaks today. I was happy to see the stairs between Portola and Work Avenue getting redone after so many years of that awkward slope. So that's really exciting. I wanted to tell Matthew that they are having thousands of monarch butterflies in Pacific Grove. So I know you were a big fan of butterflies, and if you get a chance to go out there, it's really cool to see. And yeah, I'm excited to get more research done going forward in the next 2 weeks. Lastly, like, I just don't know if this is something where like just getting my hands dirty or our hands like volunteer making the parks look more pretty, just doing some weed whacking to take the load off Ron. If that's something that could be done in the future, I'd be totally game to do it. So yeah, and those are my final comments.
Ron's all for it.
All right, Ron, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'll just say that, this is our first phase with this Prop 68 money, and I'm working on some other grants as well. And we're going to go back to this Prop 68 money in another year, and hopefully we can redo some other things in the park and do some other things like the mayor was talking about as far as our wish list, getting it together. And as soon as we get the next funds for the next grant, we'll be ready to go because we'll already have our wish list and some things lined up and be ready to go. So I'm excited.
Thank you. Me too. And Mayor, any last thoughts from you?
No, I just have to say how excited I am about all of this. Our parks are the heart of our city, and I just want to make sure that everyone can use them safely, regardless of age or ability. And it's just time to upgrade a little bit. And so I'm glad we're going to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for raising your hand and being a part of this.
All right. Well, our time is up. So thank you, everybody. 2 weeks, we will meet at the park, 5 o'clock. Now, one thing that does need to happen is I will need somebody to take notes because we will not be online. We will not be recorded. So anybody want to volunteer, or do I just assign? I go, oh, thank you, Kyle.
I'll bring a notepad with me. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No promises on the handwriting, but I'll transcribe my gibberish afterwards.
That's just great. Okay. Well, thank you all. Have a lovely rest of your evening and see you in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, Terry. You did a great job.
Thank you, Terry. Right on.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.